So hedgerows are often overlooked, but they're one of the most important features in the countryside for wildlife. They connect bits of woodland together, and they provide a corridor for animals to use to run along, and for birds to nest in, and for pollinators to forage on very early on in the season when there's no forage for them in the meadows and on the verges. Hedgerows have it all. So all of this started with the Watlington Hedgerow Survey Group, and what they realised was that some of Watlington's hedgerows needed restoring, and there were opportunities to plant new hedgerows.
This is West Meadow, which belongs to the Watlington Support Fund, which is a key local Watlington charity. The hedges here we haven't actually managed for rather a long time, and they're getting into critically dangerous conditions. Some of the old trees are falling down.
As on our survey, we identified these two hedges as being completely beyond any rational management. They're so old, they've never been touched. They were probably planted in the mid-19th century, very, very tall, and they're actually physically starting to collapse now.
And obviously it's important to do the management, or else eventually we don't have a hedge, it'll just fall down into dereliction. See this hedge, largely it's old hawthorns, but there's lots and lots of elder got in it, and the elder tends to suppress the other plants, and the ivy has got absolutely massive and thick.
There's an example of what we're up against. This is a piece of ivy that is growing up the stems. I don't think I've ever seen a bigger piece of ivy, and it's dragging the whole hedge down. So it really is in desperate need of this rather harsh but cruel to be kind management of coppicing and planting up.
We've got 3 landowners involved with one shared tenant. We talked about what could be done for their hedges and what I could contribute, what they could contribute to the work, and what the volunteers of Watlington could contribute to the work.
The Harris family have been here since 1930, when my grandfather would have moved here and farmed the land. I don't think anybody has touched it or done anything to it, probably since my grandfather's been here. So this is a great opportunity to try and, renew the whole hedge line.
So today is a super exciting day because we are actually seeing work on the ground.
And although it's going to be a bit drastic, actually what's required is complete rejuvenation, with a view to it still being here in good condition in 100 years' time.
And today we've got this machine working away busily in the background, which has got this tree shears unit on it. It would be a nightmare to do this by hand.
We're trying to leave a few that were half decent hawthorns. There's a couple of sycamores, but unfortunately the rest of the hawthorn was so covered in ivy that it's pulled most of it down. Hence we've had to pull it out.
Thank you for coming today. Amazing effort by Jackie of getting you all here and coordinating everybody to be here on time with your spades and your hats and your thorn-proof coats. So we are here today to deliver the next phase of the Watlington Hedgerow project.
We're going to do these 2 sides, and then we're going to plant a new hedge across the end there, completely new hedge.
It was predominantly hawthorn, but we thought we'd introduce a few more species to appeal to more invertebrates and to supply a flowering period for much longer.
We plant things randomly, so they're absolutely random where they are in terms of the species mix. They do dry out in the wind, so we keep them in the bags as much as possible.
The funding from this project comes from the national countryside charity CPRE, and they are supporting 5 hedgerow projects around the country and facilitating some really great projects on the ground to demonstrate what a difference hedgerows can make. And it's part of an overall campaign to try and increase the amount of hedgerow we have in the country by 40% by 2050. And we hope that the lessons learned can then be shared with other communities so that we can encourage more and more local people to get involved in similar projects.
It's so nice to be actually doing something, getting your feet on the ground and planting hedges and trees, which are so important for wildlife.
Just planting is obviously definitely the next step into the future. So, and to see so many of us, I just been quite elated by it.
And it's free mindfulness, because whilst you're digging your hole and you're planting your hazel, that you're not worried about the other things in life, and it's been really fun.
But it's really nice to be part of building the hedgerow back up again, and hopefully over the next few years we'll see it grow into something really special.
What we'd like to see as the outcome for this project is first of all more, better, healthy hedgerow growing, but we'd also like to see individuals and communities inspired to take action for their local environment. So this is one hedgerow in one day, but we hope that it will lead to many more hedgerows and many more days.
So I think today, looking around at everybody really cracking on, everybody's talking, they're telling stories to each other, they're meeting new people for the first time. I think this is a great example of how a community can actually really make a difference in their local town or parish, bringing people together and just really knowing that what they're doing is really, really valuable for the future of our environment.
So, it starts with one or two people who are keen and enthusiastic, and they bring on board more people. There's lots of skills and expertise and advice out there, and lots of people who are willing and enthusiastic. So, get stuck in, get involved.
Every parish has the capacity to do something like this.
Practical action in your community can really make a difference. It can make a difference to your local environment, and it's great fun.
So it's May, and we are looking at the hedge whips that we planted in December and January. And I'm really, really pleased with what I'm seeing. We got the whips in good and early, so they had some winter rain. The spirals have done their job. We've got a lot of rabbits in this hedge line, but the spirals seem to have kept them off. The roses are looking really good, the plums are looking really good, and the crab apples are looking great. So what's really nice is that the spindles are flowering. I wasn't expecting that. So that's looking absolutely beautiful. The hawthorns are looking brilliant. What you can see here is that the coppiced hawthorn is starting to regenerate from the base. This is exactly what it should be doing, and they will eventually grow back and form part of the hedge. The rose, there's lots of old rose in the hedgerow as well, and that's regenerating and growing back too, really nicely.